Hi everyone, this is Ascaso Steel Duo. I've had it for 1.5 years and it's time for a review. It's a great machine and I love it, but nothing in life is perfect, so let's see what's good and what's not so good about it. Briefly, the machine makes espresso, of course, steams milk, hot water, PAD temperature control with many other programmable functions, pressure gauge, conveniently located overpressure valve, internal volumetric control. However, when I was looking for the machine, I identified 7 general categories to meet my needs. 5 machines ended up on my shortlist, with this one of course being the winner, but the other 4 machines are the Diletta Mio, the Profitec Pro 300, Lelit Elizabeth and Breville dual boiler. What I think makes sense is to evaluate this machine on my initial 7 criteria so that you can see how this machine stacks up against the competition. The first criteria we're going to discuss is dual boiler, or the ability to pull an espresso shot and steam milk at the same time. Actually, what is more important is the seamless transition between the two operations without having to wait. One thing that's very important to mention for this machine is that it uses a thermal block, not a boiler. A boiler has a preheated water and then the preheated water is pumped into the espresso pack. A thermal block has a coil out of stainless steel tube wrapped in an aluminum that heats very fast, so the water is heated in real time as it passes through the thermal block. That offers 2 unique advantages and 1 small disadvantage, which I'm going to mention later. The first unique advantage is the fast heat up time, and the second advantage, which often is overlooked, is that this system always uses fresh water for the drinks you make, because it doesn't keep water inside itself. If the machine is not used for a long time, possibly the water may become stale because of all the impurities and other elements that go into it, or some sediments can accumulate over time. Here there is no such problem. All the 5 machines offer dual boiler functionality and they get 5 scores. The second criteria was the fast heat up time, and for me that was the single most important element. I used to have an ECM Classica with E61 group head and it used to take up to 20-30 minutes to heat up. That was just too much and I had to sell it just after 2 months. I'm aware that we can attach those gadgets, I have them, to wake up the machine in the morning and preheat it, but that doesn't work for me because I have a regular schedule. I teach for a university and depending on the semester schedule and the classes, my schedule changes over time. I need to be able to come to the kitchen, flip the machine. Actually, let's do it as we speak and to see how quickly it will take to warm up. Right now it's 27 centigrade. I put a shot a couple of hours ago, so there is still some residual heat, but let's see how quickly it will reach 94 centigrade at which it is set. I need to be able to come to the kitchen and pull a shot very quickly. I don't want the machine to stay heat up most of the time during the day, and also sometimes I need an espresso in the afternoon, sometimes we have guests in the evening, and if I tell them that they need to wait half an hour for a cappuccino, nobody's gonna want it. So for me, heat up time is really, really important. This machine heats up in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes it is ready, and in up to 5 minutes everything is warm. The only thing, yes, you can pull a shot in about 2 minutes. By the way, it's ready. 94 centigrade in less than a couple of minutes. It is fast. Now it's gonna take a little bit of time for the temperature to come down everywhere if you wanna wait, or just quickly flip the switch and do a flush and it will heat up much faster. Because of that, this machine gets a 5 for sure. The Diletta Mio gets a 4. According to all the reviews, it heats up in about 7 to 8 minutes, which is not bad, but not the best. Profitec Pro 300 gets a 2. Based on my understanding, it takes 10 minutes, 12 minutes to heat up everything. The Lelit Elizabeth gets a 3. I understand it heats up to 7 minutes and it gets its full potential in about 12 minutes. And the Breville Duo boiler, a solid 5, it uses a very unique system similar to the La Marzocco's Linea Mini system, where there is a boiler and the boiler pumps heated water to the group head, and the group head also is preheated, so you have a two-stage heating process, and that's why it heats up very fast. The third criteria, I'm gonna turn it off now. The third criteria is stable temperature, which means PID, and nowadays pretty much all modern machines use PID. All the 5 machines have it, so they get 5s. The fourth criteria was, actually I combined 2 elements, and this is the programmability of the machine, but also the unique features it has, that including some of the mechanical unique features. Together they define the operational space which I have and can use to make an espresso. So actually this machine gets a 4. It has a lot of things you can adjust, but not as many as some of the competition. Here you can adjust the timing of the shot, the volume of the shot, the pre-infusion, the temperature of the steam, the temperature of the group head, and quite a few others, but nothing exceptional. These days it's mostly like standard. The Diletta Mio gets a 3, mainly because it doesn't have hot water and has no pre-infusion. The Profitec Pro gets 3.5 points, only because it doesn't have pre-infusion. The Lelit Elizabeth gets a 5. This is probably the most sophisticated and adjustable machine. You even can go into its menu and adjust the coefficients of the PID. It has pre-infusion of 2 bars. So it takes the pre-infusion pressure from the steam boiler and very gently pre-infuses the pack. The Breville Duo boiler gets 4.5, and one advantage the Duo boiler has is that it has a clock which can be used to schedule the on and off, the turning the machine on and off. The fifth criteria is aesthetics and looks. Now let's be honest. We're gonna be using this machine half an hour a day, maybe an hour top with a push. For the rest of the time, we're gonna be looking into it, we're gonna be enjoying its presence, it becomes part of the kitchen. Aesthetics and look matter. And I personally favor minimalistic, boxy design. I like the black color, and for me that's a win. So this machine gets a 5. The Diletta Mio for aesthetics gets a 3 in my eyes. Profitec Pro 300 gets a 2, and part of the reason is because the aesthetics are kind of alright, but one thing I don't like is that the PID and the pressure gauge are down here. Knowing how much the coffee splashes, or sometimes there is channeling, and knowing how much I need to wipe the back of this machine, if there was some electronics or gadgets here, that they'll take all of those coffee spots. Lelit Elizabeth gets a 4. It's a very nice machine, but still not in my eyes close to that one. Breville Duo boiler unfortunately gets a 3 because it's very plasticky, and although it looks like stainless, it's kind of more on the outside here. The whole body is made out of metal. I do realize that aesthetics and looks are very subjective, so there you go, that's my choice, but you can certainly enter other points if you think otherwise. The next one is build quality and reliability, and this machine gets a 4. It is a Spanish machine made in Barcelona. It is not as big as many other companies. A lot more needs to be understood about it. So conservatively, I give it a 4. Not that I had a problem, I just don't want to go and give it a 5 without knowing too much about it, based on 1 year and without too many other owners reporting their experience with it. So conservatively, I give it a 4. The Diletta Mio also gets a 4 conservatively, but the Profitec Pro 300 gets a 5. This is a German engineering to its best. If you look the video on the whole latte love, when they open it, Just the internals, everything is great. Stainless steel, well aligned tubes. I mentioned stainless steel boilers already. Just the machine is built like a tank. It's gonna outlive us probably. The Lelit Elizabeth gets a 4 conservative estimate, and the Breville Duo boiler actually gets a 3. And the reason, if you start Googling, if you read forums, there is just a lot of complaints. And there is something about the quality of the Breville, or at least that's my perception of it. On the other hand, this is a very popular machine, a lot of spare parts. So if you are one of those people who want to tinker with it, it actually may be a great machine to own. But based on my impression, I believe it's a 3 in terms of reliability. And final feature is positive vibe. What is that? I define it as the desire to work with the machine. When you wake up in the morning and when you look at it, do you like it? Does it invite you? Do you feel compelled to operate with it? Do you want to do something with it? Do you enjoy working with it? And I can tell you that for me, this machine still gives me quite a lot of positive vibe. Every morning when I wake up, I'm really excited. When I flip that switch, I'm so excited about it. A lot of subjectivity in this criteria. Feel free to change your numbers for the others, but for me, it's a 5 for this machine. The Diletta Mio, I'm gonna give it a 3 based on the looks. For the Profitec Pro 300, a 2. The Lelit Elizabeth gets a 4, and Breville Duo boiler gets a 3. And as you can see, this is very strongly correlated with aesthetics and looks, but again, I think it is way more than that. It's some kind of an overall evaluation if the machine invites you to operate and if you desire to operate the machine. Now it's time to mention some of the things that this machine is not very good at, and some that are just so-so. In no particular order, the stainless steel on the drip tray is very shiny and beautiful, but also very prone to scratches. And you don't see them from afar, but from close they're quite noticeable. I also stopped using the preinfusion. Initially, I was very excited about it, but it doesn't work for me. And the reason is that you have only 5 seconds of preinfusion and then 5 seconds of wait time for the coffee pack to get fully wet. Those 10 seconds altogether are the maximum preinfusion time you can have, and it's not enough for me. And when I use my cafe latte robot, by the way, I use a lot of preinfusion on it, and sometimes it can take 15-20 seconds, but the key for me is to see the first drops and then I stop and wait. Here, unfortunately, the preinfusion is too short for my liking, so I don't use it. Another thing I don't like very much is the drip tray, and these ridges here are nice if you want to carry a lot of water across the kitchen, but for me the sink is right here. And what I don't like, they are very sharp edges, and that may look like a small thing, but the problem is that a lot of dirt gets stuck on those edges, and cleaning it is problematic. I don't like having dirty tray because this is hot water, organic material that decomposes fast. Another thing I must mention, however, and this is important, is that because the machine has a thermal block, my impression is that it is a little bit more prone to channeling compared to other machines. And here is why. These machines, the middle level machines like this one, use vibratory pumps. When you see 9 bars here, they are not 9 bars stable. Usually there is a variation, small variation and vibration of the water. And because there is no boiler and the air in the boiler cannot absorb those variations, the line is connected directly from the water pump to the espresso pack, and those vibrations hit the pack. I call this jackhammering. The jackhammering is transferred to the pack with a bigger force compared to other machines, and that makes it more prone to channeling. If you think that this doesn't have too much of an effect, think about your electric toothbrush, how little energy it uses. But just those micro vibrations, ultrasonic vibrations, are enough to break the plaque on your teeth. So the jackhammering, my impression is that increases a little bit the channeling of this machine. There are ways to mitigate it, and the manual espresso machines, of course, there is no jackhammering there, and that's why I actually prefer the taste of their espresso, because the water really pushes very smoothly through the espresso pack. Still, what are the ways to mitigate those issues? Number one, a good preparation of the coffee pack. Of course, you know those things, but I must also mention you need the needle distribution tool. This is the distribution tool. This is the tamper. Probably have quite a lot of tampers, but that seems to be working the best for me. It's 58.3 millimeters and it fits the EMS basket I have perfectly. Of course, you need to use also the screen packs. These are the standard screen packs that you can buy everywhere and everybody uses. But finally, I started roasting my own espresso. Gonna be a separate video about it, but just the results are unbelievable. Sometimes I get shots with 100% crema. One very nice feature that this machine has are the LED lights, and they really make a lot of difference here. But I wish there were similar lights in the water tank so I can more easily see the level of the water. It's a minor thing, but it's still on my wish list. Regardless of all the shortcomings that it might have, the fact that it heats so fast beats all the small problems it has, because I can take care of the other things one way or another, but if the machine does not heat up fast, there is nothing I can do. So in my eyes and for my needs, this machine still is a winner, but the other four machines also are exceptionally good. For Diletta Mio, the most bang for the buck. Profitec Pro, reliable from one of the best manufacturers. Lelit Elizabeth, one of the most unique features. And Breville Duo Boiler, similar if not better functionality compared to the Ascaso, for a lower price, but that comes with less reliability and not as good aesthetics. And that's it. Hope it was helpful, and that was Ascaso Steel Duo for you.